Uri, take us in.
How are you, John?
Fantastic. How are you doing today?
No, I'm good. So tonight was education that is set to happen in 2026. So what are your thoughts on that?
Quite interesting, you know. I think quite interesting. It's a big step, and we're actually quite excited to be seeing this. It's a good example that we're seeing, but actually it's questionable on so many ends. First of all, of course, it has been questioned that the feasibility of it has been questioned,
Yes.
whether this new step of free tertiary education in the country can actually, sustain the economy. We are all
Yes.
questioning that. But I think I want to discuss it on so many angles first to start off with.
Definitely.
And we've recently obviously seen the minister when she did the budget review,
Yes.
the midterm budget review, stating that more than 600 million has been budgeted
It's
for
allocated,
tertiary education. But we also see the University of Namibia before that initially saying that as an institution they need about more than 80 million just to sustain this. So we talk about access and equity. Free tertiary education then it's a good opportunity, but it also removes it's good that it removes the barrier of tuition and all things.
Yes,
but there's also risk involved, such as universities being overwhelmed. The quality of education possibly could drop as well. Is
Yes.
that something that they can look into? And what are some of the things that they can actually do to defeat the purpose of equity? So that's very, very important.
Exactly. And in as much as it's free, in as much as everyone can now have a higher education, there's also stuff like infrastructure that has to be looked at. Because the money, yes, is allocated. I'm sure it's for salaries and stuff like that. But then what about the buildings? They need to be kept up to standard. And just, as you said, education itself. Will people now start opening other universities and people running to private institutions because they have a better upkeep? Or what could happen? Because there's a lot of mixed feelings with this free education thing. It's good. It's very commendable. But then there's a lot to be looked at as well, I believe.
Absolutely. And if you think of other things as well, the bigger picture here is, okay, fine, we get to have a lot of people graduate.
Yes.
But if you look at what's the situation on the ground now, unemployment is, of course, still another issue with us. And we already have a lot of graduates on the streets jobless. So what are some of the strategies put in? You want the government exactly to make sure that they also look into the industry. So more jobs then needs to be created. So I think there's a really direct link between direct policy and industrial policy. So the economy must be able to absorb these graduates once they actually then get to the end of their studies. And I think we also need to rethink about the TVET sector as well.
Definitely.
Not everyone needs a degree.
Definitely.
Really not everyone needs a degree. I think everyone really deserves employable skills. So I hope and believe, or I believe and hope that, this free tertiary education idea that the country is, of course, planning to implement gets to see more into the TVET sector.
Because I believe as a country that's growing economically and in all other aspects, TVET is good. Because we can have people who are boiler makers, people who are plumbers, people who are to build up these industries. So, we have to lay a foundation.
Yeah, it has to level, it must balance, as a lot of people would say.
Definitely.
And speaking of balancing, you also want to see what are some of the, ideas that can actually balance, the employability. Are we only going to be depending on national budget, or can this also create a funding model that can also just be able to generate money for itself, and then later on we don't only want the money to be taken from the budget straight into the education, so the free tertiary education idea, but also maybe generate money in a way that can actually sustain the universities or whatever the sector in essence.
And I do also, like I said, agree with the free tertiary education, but I feel like they should also look at certain courses that are right now important that they can look into. Maybe this will be free and this won't be free. Maybe that could also, I think a lot should be looked into.
For instance, registration perhaps can be paid for. It's fully dependable by the student, and then the tuition fees
Yes.
perhaps than on the government side. That's actually a good idea
So
to look at it. Yeah.
it totally being free, it's great.
Yeah.
But then I think as we're starting, maybe we should look into, okay, we're going to focus on this sector first, and they can be free, or maybe half, people pay half and other people pay half, but other sectors are fully funded for. Maybe that could be a conversation that they should look into, because it's not just about the administration, it's also about other stuff to sustain the
I'm sure you've probably
tertiary
seen everybody else after this announcement was made by the president. Everybody saying, "Oh, I'm going to school now." Everybody's going to school. And even the confusion between whether one is able to study at more than one institution at the same time. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. I don't think so.
And I think it's something they can actually also look into, because at the end of the day, you don't want an influx. Because if everybody goes to school, or rather goes to more than one institution of higher learning, how's that going to be proper? I don't think it's something that's really wise. And another thing that I wanted to talk about really is the social impact of this, of the free education. I think it could really help reshape families and communities, especially if you look at the first graduates. More social mobility can be an aspect that I think will be improved, and I think it can also reduce inequality between the rural and urban youth.
Definitely.
Because if you look, there are those that are privileged, and there are those who couldn't afford university before. So I think there's a balance then that's gonna. This is the balance it's gonna bring. But on a national scale, I think if you boost civic engagement, you look at innovation and the national pride, if you actually think about that as well. So many positives, but I think there are also some areas that needs a lot of impact. Yeah.
And of course, we went to our social media, NBC Digital WhatsApp group, and we asked the Namibians what they think of this. And the first question was, do you think free tertiary education will make students work harder or take studying for granted? And of course, over 500 people said it depends on the student. Only 59 said that they will work harder, and others will take it for granted. What is your take on that?
This is actually a very good way of looking at it. But if you look at the most votes in this poll, it's really a very accountable answer to say, because it really depends on the student.
Definitely.
It's not about taking it for granted. You don't want to go to school this time. You are given free education. So go to school, but if you mess it up, it's your choice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the second question was, if government can only afford one, what should come first? Free tertiary education or better job opportunities for the graduates?
This is interesting.
Over 400 people said both are equally important, of course, and some said free tertiary educations, and others said more job for graduates. The last one that we had was, do you think free tertiary education will help reduce youth unemployment in Namibia? Yes, it will open more opportunities. No, there still won't be enough jobs, only if it is the right courses that are offered. Like we said.
The facts are clear, and the votes also speak for themselves.
Yes.
There won't be enough jobs. And this is, I think, the most important part of this conversation when it comes to free tertiary education. You really want to make sure that you are able to employ the many people that you are giving free access to of education to. So we appreciate, of course, all our viewers and followers for of course, being part of this poll, and a really strong conversation. But of course, we are still waiting for the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Sports, Youth, Arts and Culture to pronounce itself on exactly how this free tertiary education is going to be rolled out. So we are really hoping that can be done soon enough. As we are not too far from 2026. So, and people are already actually starting to apply.
It's a buzz. I was at NAS today, and the amount of people that were they were registering, I guess, because it's the last day today, they were a lot. So it's good that the government is employing people to get educated, to better themselves.
And we also talk about the students for the most part, but let's talk about the human resources, the people, the teachers, the lecturers. How are they going to be able to actually teach more than the number that's actually more than the number that they already have, because now we're going to see a lot of people applying for school.
Yes.
How are they going to be able to manage all of this? How many people are going to be in one class?
Yeah.
So those are questions also you want to know. I'm sure they also have questions, but I think it's a conversation we can have on the Daily Roundup, speaking
Definitely.
to a lecturer, perhaps an expert in that field, actually give us their thoughts on that.
But I'm really excited as to where this is going to go and how far it's going to go and in what direction it's going to go.
As for me, I'm still, wrapping my head around it. It's of course a good idea to, offer something for free, or not something for free, but to of course implement such an idea to try and de-risk, or rather make it easier for Namibians to have access to education. But I think for the government's economy, I hope that it doesn't strain the country.
Yeah. Go study, John.
No, well,
go study.
You just said I should go study on national television. Well, good chat.
It's free.
It's free, but definitely still something that we want to think about. I want to give space for other Namibians.
Yeah, because you've been there, done that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Uri, for being here. It was a great chat. Of course, so hot topics every Friday.
Yes.
Always expecting you to bring up something, some tea, as Scarlett Gray was saying earlier. So thank you so much.
Yes, and with that, we wrap tonight's edition of the Daily